to what Arty Noobs for general disturbance. This is the Strv S1. It's a tier 8 Swedish premium tank destroyer. It's located on the north spawn of Prokhorovka encounter, and this one is under the command of Cursed by Design. Game's about to start. Okay, this was the first of the Swedish premiums, as far as I can remember, way back. It's actually quite an interesting tank. Of course, it's the first of the wedges, or as the many people actually called it, the flat pack tank destroyer. Yes, the IKEA tank destroyer. Yes, it's basically one of the designs that the Swedes came up with on the way to getting the Strv 103B. It's actually a very interesting design, but of course the gun is fixed, and it's actually aimed at the target by turning the vehicle and using hydropneumatic suspension or hydraulic aiming on the enemy. Well, you can see that Cursed by Design is taking it up to the usual sniping position on the Prokhorovka map, and if you see the fences go down, if you're in an Arty, you normally know that somebody is in residence, and therefore you can actually get shots on them, blind shots, without their knowledge, because of course all you need to do is check to see if the fences are knocked down. If the fences are knocked down, there's somebody there. They developed this tank in 1956. It's got a 105mm gun capable of 390 alpha, penetrating 288 with standard APCR. With the premium APCR, it's 330mm. They actually designed this one in 1961. They built it in 1962. Now the armour is very thin. It's only 30mm all round, so it can be overmatched by a 90mm round. So even with that very acute angling, which is designed really to bounce rounds that are fired at the vehicle, they were supposed to actually just ricochet off because the angling was too acute. But if it's anything over 90mm, it will normally plough straight through the vehicle. It's only got 3 crew. It's got a commander who's also a gunner, a driver who's also a gunner because he can actually aim the vehicle, and a radio operator who's also connected with the loader. Basically it's an autoloader device. It can drive backwards almost as fast as it can drive forwards, 50 kilometers an hour forward, 45 in reverse. And there's only a 3-degree arc either side, and that's mostly down to, you say the gun's actually fixed, it is fixed, but the 3-degree arc either side is actually down to the amount of hydraulic movement that they can get without actually having to turn the vehicle. You just, oh, it's got a third target, nice hit, high roll, 419, and the Achilles is dead. And he actually got the damage assist there because he destroyed the track, and that enabled our teammates to get the kill. He didn't penetrate the SU-100, but he did track him, and he picked up all of that as damage assist as well, so he's on a roll so far. Now that, I think that T-3485M is in a dip, so he can't really get at him from here. But if he moves too far forward, he might get spotted. Standard reload is 9.78 seconds, and Cursed by Design has got it down to 8.1. Nice shot into the Tiger, high roll, 449. He's taking more damage. Can we get another shot in? I think so. Yep, easily punches through Tiger 1's armour. No problem at all. And that Tiger 1 is now badly hurt. He's just south of the dip though, so he's dropped down into a depression in the ground, so he's safe for the moment. There's no Arty in this game, so Cursed by Design is not likely to receive enemy fire course, that's the one thing I did mention at the start. You normally see the fences go down, and that's what tells you that there's an Arty, that there's a tank destroyer in residence. Because, of course, Arty can look things that tanks can't. It is kind of, well, risky taking these blind shots. Occasionally you will hit something, but the thing is you only get 50 rounds of ammunition in the Strv S1, so you need to make sure that you get the best. And he's got his first kill with the Tiger 1. Yeah, if you blast away too many rounds, then come to the end of the game you might regret it. I guess any tank that has less than 50 rounds to play with is in danger of actually running out of ammo before the end of the game. Okay, there's an MT25 over near the centre, near the cap area, and he's still looking south. That MT25 is in sight, but he's choosing not to look at it. Maybe he wasn't looking at the minimap at the time. It's another problem with this tank destroyer being this far over. You'll miss out on shots that you might get over on the far side. If he was to move a little further south, he might actually be able to see those targets. And no, we can't get the Scorpion. 4502 in the way. It's a tier 8 game with tier 7 tanks in it. Tier 6 tanks actually, sorry. I think that Scorpion there's the American one, which is very thin on armour. But he does have a 90mm gun, so he could overmatch the armour on the Strv S1. There he is. Nice! Low roll though, 328. Trouble is, he now knows where we are as well, because he must have seen that shot and worked it out that it's in the bushes up in this corner. Of course, the Strv S1 was actually a test bed for the whole hydraulic aiming. The British had actually come up with a design for a hydraulic aiming with the Contentious project, and there's actually a very good video on that on Armoured Archives if you want to check that out. You got a direct hit on the IKV, it's a high roll, 434, it's a good shot. That guy's headed further north. Oh, I just saw a round hit the other bush, so I think they're testing which bush you're in. Pumps one into the KV2 for 356, low roll. Of course, we can hear the sirens. Somebody's capping. In fact, there's two caps at this moment. And the KV2 just got wiped out by our super pushing. So we might have to move shortly if nobody interferes with that cap, because we've got only a Yak Panther on the other side of the battlefield. IKV. Kill shot. Second kill. Oh, our T-3485M. Oh, yeah. That was unfortunate. He just took a massive hit, and it must have hit the ammo rack. And the second shot just blew up when it hit the ammo rack again. Definitely looked like a full pen from a 90mm round. Well, one of the cappers has left the cap, and I think we did get resets. We can now see that it's a Skoda T56 that's in the cap area. I think our SU-122-44 might get some spots. Of course, that exploits basically the same principle. It's got very highly angled frontal armour. Nice, we've got TK. And ow, that hurt. We got a ricochet for the VK. Come on, get another one in. Yep, that's better. And this time round he got a high roll, but only just. And another one, and the VK dies to the SU-122-44, but he did take a hit, and I think it was an HE round that just hit him. It certainly looks like somebody's pumping rounds into those bushes just ahead of him. We're one up on the enemy, and Curse by Design does have 20% of the enemy hit pool, which means that he's on for a potential high caliber, and he's decided to relocate now, but he does so in such a way that he doesn't get spotted by the enemy. We can see there are two enemies over in the cap area. There's an MT-25 on the south of the cap, a Skoda T-56 on the north of the cap, and I think it would really help if we were to actually move over, cross the railway line, and start approaching the cap from the other side, or maybe even go up the hill and attack anybody who comes near the cap. So I think this is a smart move, because our SU-122-44 has gone south, and he actually has found the enemy T-34 or the Skoda T-50. Oh, it's the T-34. Yep. Okay, so the enemy is now in a bit of a pickle. They've got a Skoda T-27 up on top of the hill. That's the automatic Skoda, the one with the autoloader. And I think our Super Pershing just got hit. Yeah, I think that's a shot from the hill. And oh, we had to push the wreck out of the way there. But yeah, the Super Pershing is taking fire from the Skoda, and he's up on top of the hill. Curse by Design's obviously recognised that, seen the hits, and pulled back to try and use these bushes. Skoda's reloaded. He's now pumping more rounds in. I think he just blocked 2 shots. So I think he's in reload again. Yep, rounds hitting the ground. Somewhere up there is a Skoda. At least we've stopped them capping, but now we're down to 4 tanks each. I think Curse by Design's best job would be to actually go cross to the river quickly, come up along the other path directly up towards the hill, because it forced the Skoda to expose himself, and then he might get shot by the Super Pershing or the OI as we're on the approach up to the hill. But once we've got on top of the hill, then the T-27 is in a lot of trouble, because not only will we be spotting him, then we would also be allowing our teammates to get shots on him as well.
Withdraw from that position.
Now it's the OI telling us to pull back, and I think he's right. As I say, cut across to the left from here, go to the east, and go up the hill. And there's the 2-minute warning. So if we're going to win this one,
Start withdrawal.
he's telling Curse by Design to pull back, because he thinks it's much better off if he can actually, because if he goes into the cap, he's going to get shot at, and that's going to be bad news. But if he goes up the hill, they will be able to spot the Skoda, and then they can do something about him. But he can't do anything if there's nobody up there to see. So he needs to get close. I'm not sure what the OI is doing now, but we're not going to get sight of that Skoda whilst he's up there. And if this carries on for much longer, then we won't be able to get a win. It'll have to be a draw, because we don't know where the MT-25, the Skoda, or the T-30... Well, we know where the T-34-85M was seen, and of course he killed the SU-122. And here comes the Skoda. And a nice hit. High roll for 403 rather. And the enemy did lose their MT-25, but they haven't got enough to cap out, and so it's definitely looking like a draw now. Oh dear, this could have been a win. Try and get a shot on him as he goes across the railway line. Bit lower, bit lower. That's it, that's it. Yes! Below roll, 379. We lose the Tiger P. So we're now 3-all. Go for another one. And it's a kill shot. But unfortunately, we lost the Super Pershing. And now with 6 seconds left on the clock, I think it's going to be a draw. Oh dear. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was the first ace tanker for Cursed by Design in the Strv S1. You can tell it's the first one because he gets the scrolls underneath. You only get that on the first occasion. Other than that, it's normally just the laurels all the way around once you've done it once. He got a fire for effect for doing more damage than the hit points for his own vehicle, a bruiser for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 7. And he did get the high caliber for dealing the most damage in the game, and his win rate from that battle was 8,499, which is super unicum and quite a bit more. So let's have a look at the team score and see where he was. Well, he got 4,511 hit points of damage out of that game. The only player who actually was close to him was the Skoda T56, who got 4,124. And the third highest damage in the game went to our T3485M, who exploded after getting a Confederate and a Defender. He got 3,121. At least I think that was the one. Or maybe that was the other T34 who's a little further down here. It could be him, actually, yes. I think that was the guy who exploded. Whereas this one was the one who was actually near the cap area getting a Defender medal. When it came to kills, it was actually the Borsig on the enemy team did the best with 6 kills in that one. Picked up a Top Gun. 4 kills went to the T3485M on the enemy team. That's the guy who killed our SU-122-44. And he got an Oskins medal out of that game for killing 2 enemy tanks or tank destroyers with a medium tank, and they had to be at least 1 tier higher. The SU-122-44 is of course tier 7 and he's only tier 6. And 3 kills went to Cursed by Design, the SU-122-44 and the Super Pershing as well. When it came to base XP, it's actually Cursed by Design who got the highest with 792 by virtue of his high caliber. 749 went to the T3485M on his team, the one that got the Defender, and 731 went to the Skoda T56, the one who was close in terms of damage. Cursed by Design fired 21 rounds in the game, so he still had 29 rounds available at the end, so maybe I was a little short on him taking those blind shots, just on the off chance that he did actually connect with someone. 15 direct hits on the enemy, 13 penetrations, so there was a few shots. 6 shots were actually wasted, and I think they didn't do anything at all. Those were probably the blind shots. But he did get good hits on the other ones. Only 2 shots didn't pen. 4,511 hit points in total, of which 4,033 were at more than 300 meters. So you can see it was a long-range sniping game, because most of his shots were at long range. He spotted 2 enemy vehicles in the game, got 8 enemy vehicles damaged, 3 killed, and 1,815 hit points of damage assistance. Most of those ones that he did, he actually tracked, and those were the shots that didn't pen. They actually tracked the vehicle and allowed our teammates to get the kill shot on them instead. He earned 128,108 credits for the game, 64,054 credits from personal reserves, 11,520 for courageous resistance. That's for getting an epic or battle hero medal in a losing or drawn game. This was a draw. And a total of 203,681 credits altogether. After ammunition resupply, he took away a profit of 179,321 credits. So that was a very good battle for Cursed by Design. 1,188 XP, 697 for courageous resistance again, 189 for this being a premium vehicle, took away 2,074 experience points altogether. I suppose you want to see the armor layout for this tank? Well, there you are. On Tanks GG, you can see the armor layout in the 3D model, and you can see it's a very flat tank. Indeed, yes, very flat. Very well angled. You can see the frontal armor is 30mm, but the effective angling is so strong, it actually takes it up to 71, thereabouts, on the center. There are some hard points along the vehicle. If you look here, you've got a lot of spaced armour there, 30mm of actual armour for the hull, but 5mm, 20mm, another 20mm. So there's a lot of spaced armour around this area. And just look at that, on that particular point there, I'm not sure what it actually is that. Somebody will have to tell me what this little thing here is. But what you're actually getting is some spaced armour on this side, which is actually taking the effective armour up to 186. And on this side, we've got impacted armour of 45mm, but it's actually so well angled it's taking it up to about 117. But more than likely, any shell fired directly at this vehicle is either going to ricochet off, or it will overmatch the armour if it's 90mm in caliber or greater. So let's have a look at the sides. Again, there's spaced armour. On the sides of here, you can see 10mm of the actual impacted, then the 30mm for the side, making an effective 40mm. At the rear of the vehicle, 30mm again, with angling, it's 39. And the top of the vehicle as well, if you aim for the top, 20mm of armour there, but effective 31. Now, let's have a look at the modules, because this is kind of a compact vehicle. Okay, right, well, you can see right up front, right at the front of the vehicle, is the fuel tank. Now, there is a reason for doing this. In fact, it's actually Armoured Archives who pointed out that during the 60s, they started using fuel as a defense against shells that are actually hitting your tank. You could actually have a fuel tank at the front, and so long as you could deal with the shockwave of a shell puncturing through the fuel tank and then stop the fuel from leaking out and stop the hydrostatic shock from actually then puncturing the fuel tank on the other side, fuel actually does help to stop a shell from penetrating any further. We have got the engine directly behind the fuel tank there. It's, I believe, if I remember correctly, that the fuel tank, the engine on the Strv S1 is a turbine, but I'm open to correction because I can't remember if which turbine it is, and I will look that up immediately, and I might put a note down below. You've got the driver on this side of the vehicle, we've got the TC on the other side. Remember, I did say that the driver and the TC are the tank commander are both gunners, so they're both aiming the gun. Either of them can do it. And there's the radio operator actually sitting facing the rears. Now, he is also the loader. Technically, he's shoving the shells into the autoloader system, which then feeds into the breech. At the back, we can see that there's a transmission running through the tank, right through the center. There's the two ammo boxes. The radio is right next door to the tank commander. At least I think that, yes, it is. And so he's the one with the communications, but it's the radio operator, funnily enough, on this side of the vehicle, who's actually feeding the shells. So he should really technically be a loader, but he's actually combining both jobs, radio operator and loader. So most of the crew, in fact all of the crew, have got double duties, so they perform another function. So if you take out the radio operator and the driver, you're actually taking out the gunner and also the loader at the same time. If you take out the tank commander, you're not only blinding the tank, you're actually affecting the gunnery as well. So yes, a rather interesting and compact design. There's no dedicated loader or dedicated gunner because other people are filling the job. So that's the module position for the Strv S1. I hope you enjoyed that replay. If you did, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And please let other people know that we're actually sending all of the proceeds from this channel to help the Red Cross Ukraine appeal, to help the refugees. So please do watch as many of our videos as you can, because the more videos you watch, the more money we can send them. Last month, we actually scored double the amount of views that we normally get, and that helped to send even more money to the Red Cross. And we put the receipts up on the What Arty Noobs Facebook page, as well as What Noobs, so that people can see that yes, the money has been donated. Thanks for watching.